Hello, my name is Richard Lacey and thank you for joining my channel. Today's video is about the real living costs in Costa Rica. I think there's a lot of bad information out there where people or websites that are encouraging you to come to Costa Rica. They're showing you the beach lifestyle and then showing you the costs about if you're living in a shack on a hill in the middle of the country eating bananas and rice or something. So many sites are giving bad information, overly optimistic information, and I just want to tell you how it is so you can make a good decision about whether Costa Rica is for you or not. So what I want to do is give you a real no-bull guide to the costs here of living a good expat lifestyle. So you're close enough to the beach and you're going out and eating and you've got the luxuries from home, and give you a real detailed breakdown of the costs of that kind of a lifestyle, which for me is what most people want when they're going to come down here. So we'll talk a little bit about the big ticket items like house and car, and then really focus on your living. So what's it cost to eat in the beachfront restaurants, and supermarket costs, and medical and gasoline and things like that. So let's get right into it. So just to give you an overall summary, I would say that once you've got your house, so either rented or buying, a couple on $2,000 a month, you can live well enough at the beach, keep an eye on your budget, but you can live well enough here on $2,000 a month. On $3,000 a month, you're eating out anywhere you want, anytime you want. 4,000 or 5,000, you're living like an absolute king here. And now what I want to do is to break it down into each of the individual components. So first, cars. Cars are expensive here because in Costa Rica there's no car industry, so everything's imported and taxes are really high. Car up to 3 years old pays 50% duties on import, a little bit older 60%, and older than 5 years 70% or more tax. So cars are expensive here, but then cars tend to hold their value quite well, and when you come to sell it, then you're still getting that premium. So it's not actually as bad as it sounds. Some people choose to bring their own car in. You're still subject to the same taxes, and it's quite a hassle bringing a car in. But if you've got a car that would work well down here, probably a 4x4, and you've got a model that's popular here, which is really important because whatever car you have here, you want a car that mechanics know how to work on it and that spare parts are readily available. So that's a really important thing. Just make sure that your make and model is actually used down here. And then you'll need a good importer to make sure you go through all the steps correctly. Generally speaking, a 3-year-old car from North America is better than a 3-year-old car here, just because there are more potholes down here. So in general, I would say the car's in slightly better condition. Next point I want to touch on briefly is property prices. We'll go into much more detail on that in a separate video. You see the link below. I've added a link to our company website. We've got about 2,000 properties for sale in Costa Rica. So you can just filter it for whichever price range or characteristics, and you can get a sense of where the properties prices are in Costa Rica. For $300,000, you're getting a nice 2-bed condo with a shared pool. $500,000, you're getting a very nice condo with a lovely ocean view. $1 million, you're getting a 3-bed private home with your own pool, and $2 million and up, you're getting a beachfront villa. But we'll talk about that in a separate video. The real essence of what I wanted to talk about today was the living costs down here. So I think number one biggest cost would be your supermarket shops. And if you'd asked me a year ago, I'd be the worst person to talk about this topic, because pre-COVID, I was just going out, getting whatever I wanted from wherever I was, and I never thought about supermarket prices. But with a year of lockdown, which meant a lot more time on my hands and a lot less income, I actually looked into this and I was really shocked by what I found. I mean, you expect to pay more in your little corner 7-Eleven kind of a thing than you would in your big supermarket. But in Costa Rica, the differences are really pronounced. And you could be paying 50% more in a little shop than you would do if you go to Walmart or whatever, and the nearest Walmart's about an hour from here. But once every couple of weeks, it's actually worth going because the savings are incredible. So tactics with supermarkets, number one is where you're buying from. And as I say, these massive differences really count. And even within within where we're living now in Tamarindo. From one supermarket to the next, there's big difference in prices. You know, as a foreigner, you tend to look for something similar, so it's got nice lighting and a nice car park and an air conditioning, and you just gravitate to those kind of places, and there are a couple of really nice supermarkets like that. But you've got to understand, you're paying a big premium, maybe 20% premium, on a place with the same product just down the road, but it's just a little bit more tico, a little bit more Costa Rican. The other key thing is if you're choosing brands that you recognize from home, then they've by definition been imported, and then you're subject to Costa Rica's high import duties. So just a little bit of thought into it, like where you're buying and which products you're buying. Next topic, eating out and the bars. I get quite a lot of comments about people thinking that restaurants are expensive at the beach. I just want to talk through a little bit more detail about how it is. Often people that come and they'll go to the nicest beachfront restaurant, they've got the sand between their toes, they're watching the sunset and they can hear the waves, and they order lobster. And then they come and they say, look, you know, restaurants are much more expensive than eating in a shopping mall in Minnesota or something. So it's important that you're comparing like to like. I mean, the quality of the place and the location is also an element in the pricing down here. So I mean, just in very broad terms, I would say, you know, a nice meal right by on the beach, $20 a head, 30 a head if you're drinking wine as well. One of the favorite things to do here is to be in one of the beach bars for sunset. And all of the bars do a happy hour at sunset, so you're probably paying a couple of dollars for a beer or $4 or $5 for a nice cocktail. And so I think the prices here are reasonable in that respect. Another great option for eating out are the little food stalls that you see everywhere. Close to where I am, there's El Mercadito. So there are about 20 different restaurants, kiosks, let's say, around a central area with a big bar and loads of seating and live music and whatever, and that's generally fairly economical and really good fun. A lot of the restaurants have special days, so we've got Taco Tuesdays here. Several of the restaurants that will pick a quiet day, so Tuesday or Wednesday, and they'll offer a 20% discount for residents. And what they mean by residents, just anybody that lives here. There are also live markets a couple of days a week, and there's often lots of food stalls within those. They'll be offering like snacks of their specialities just to entice you into their restaurants another day. So that's always a good way of trying lots of local dishes and restaurants. Okay, next, gasoline prices. Gasoline prices are controlled by the government, so every gas station has exactly the same price. But actually, gasoline isn't a big cost here. Prices are higher than North America and lower than Europe. It's about $3.50 per US gallon, or about $1 per litre. So where I'm in Spain, I'm paying $1.50, $1.60 a litre, so it's much cheaper for me. But North Americans, when they come here, they find it more expensive. But really, you're not traveling that much. So gasoline isn't that big a cost here compared to what it would be as a percentage of your budget at home, because there aren't long distance to go and there aren't big freeways, and you tend to be living where you want to live and you're not commuting for work. So really you're not actually spending that much on gasoline. So for me, it's not a significant cost at all. Medical costs. Medical costs are much lower than in North America. And we actually get lots of medical tourism down here. You get a lot of people coming down for elective treatments here, breast augmentations or facelifts or dental treatment, just because the quality of the medical care here is really good and the prices are attractive. I did another video that I'll put the link to above if you're a tourist coming in as to what your insurance cost would be, because you have to have the special kind of insurance if you're coming in right now because of the COVID situation. But the prices are reasonable per day for a couple. I say if you check that video, then it has all the information for you. Me as a resident, I pay about $100 a month to be part of the state medical system, and then I can use any of the state hospitals, which are absolutely fine. I've been to them and they're nice, and you have to wait a bit, but the quality of the service is great. There are lots of little medical clinics around here at the beaches, so you know, people, if they're out sport fishing and they get hooked, then they'll go there. I went in because my toenail blow off, and the price is very reasonable. I think it's $50 for a visit. I broke my ankle and I didn't have insurance at the time, and I think it was $200 or a little bit more to have it set. So prices are very reasonable and very normal here for medical care. The last significant cost I wanted to touch on is property management. So most people that own down here are not living here full time, so they're here a few months of the year and then they're renting out while they're not here. And that's almost always done through a property manager. That's far and away the best way of doing it. So your property manager will make sure the unit's clean and ready, do all the maintenance. If you have a pool, clean your pool, organize security and find the renters, check the renters in, make sure they're having a good time, offer them a concierge service. That's a standard way of doing things because the rental market is really lucrative here. If you've ever tried to book a vacation rental in Costa Rica, you know, the prices are up there, which is very attractive for you as an owner, which pays for basically everything I've already talked about, all of your other costs when you're down here, more than covered by what you make. So I'll do another video dedicated to the property management aspects, but I did just want to touch on this as part of living costs in Costa Rica. A typical property manager here charges 20% of whatever income he generates for you, and then charge you 100 or 200 a month, which is basically the bill payment service and coordinating maintenance and other things like that. And that's about it. They're all the major costs I think we've covered right now. If you have any questions, please let me know below. If you found this video useful, please subscribe and click on alerts and like and send it to a couple of friends because I'm just getting this channel going and I really appreciate any help and the comments you've sent me so far. I just wanted to thank everybody because the comments have been very generous and it's really motivated to make more of these. So far I'm really happy that these videos of telling it like it really is, finding a niche, and it's sort of a welcome addition to all the information out there that for me is a little too optimistic, and I just wanted to give you a realistic idea of what life is like here in Costa Rica. So thank you very much.